Everyone. Going to build some shortcuts live, and I'm going to go back to my camera one. I forgot to hit go live on YouTube. So, hey, thanks for joining me. I think this is the first time we're doing like a live, doing it right here on YouTube. So, I was just explaining a shortcut that I was improving from my last video. And so, let's get back to that. And again, let me know if you're watching on Twitch, on LinkedIn, wherever. We'll love to say hi. So, hello, Samuel. Thanks for joining on YouTube. And if send any requests you might have to build shortcuts. If I can do it on air, I would love to do it. If they're super complicated, I might have to save it for the next video on the channel. But let's get into it. So I'm going to show my phone here on screen. I'm going to talk about a shortcut that I just improved, actually from a recent video. And it's funny, I actually heard David Pierce talking about wanting to be able to add events to his calendar just by what's on screen on your phone. And so what I've done here is I actually created a shortcut, and it's using the Actions AI app. Hey, Celine from Birmingham, Alabama. Hey there. So this shortcut, the reason why I'm using the Actions AI app, and this is an app where you have to put in your ChatGPT or OpenAI API key, but the reason why is this Actions app actually lets you send an image along with a prompt to ChatGPT. When you use the built-in actions for ChatGPT, you can only do text. You can't do text and an image. So what I have here is this shortcut's going to take a screenshot. It has this long prompt, and I'm basically asking ChatGPT to really parse the information that it's going to OCR from the screenshot and output it in a very specific way. This way, after the Actions AI, I can split that text and set an event title, a date, even a local address if there's that, have an if statement for separating out the address, and then it's going to bring up the calendar event creation tool there at the bottom. And so, hey, Woody, appreciate it. I will keep it up. Thank you. So, this is what this shortcut does. I'm actually going to go to a website that I have. And so, here's a website with an event. There's actually my wife's concert this weekend. But you see, there's a date and time. There is kind of a title for the event. And so, I've actually mapped that shortcut to the action button. And you'll see what it does is it takes a screenshot, but it doesn't save it to your camera roll. So, you don't have to delete those, and it's using ChatGPT, sending it to ChatGPT, asking it to find possible dates and times, and then splitting that text appropriately. And now look at this. I actually have an event parsed out, and you'll see it says Fire and Water, because I asked it to kind of give me a title for the event. It has a date and time. Also, I manually added to this calendar. And I also told ChatGPT, give me any URLs or other pertinent information that might be attached to this event. And that actually goes into the notes section of the calendar event. And so now you can just, whenever you see a date or there's something on your device screen and you want to add it as an event, you can do that. And I tested it again with this. This is a Nate Bargatze, a comedian. There's obviously some date information here. And so you'll see Nate Bargatze should be the title. We have a date and time, and there's also an address. And I built into this shortcut for ChatGPT to actually parse the address as well. So I'm going to run the same shortcut. You see, it takes that screenshot, sending it to ChatGPT using the AI Actions app, and then it's going to hopefully create an event with all the parsed information. And so you give it a couple seconds. It's not immediate, which is unfortunate. You do kind of have to wait for ChatGPT to think about it. You could go on and like swipe home and it'll keep working in the background. You don't have to stay looking at that website. Once it took the screenshot, it has all the information it needs. But once it's done parsing it, we should see that event. Oh, now it didn't do it. Let me try one more time. Again, that Ask AI Actions, sometimes I find ChatGPT to be a little wonky. But I tested it before the stream, and it actually parsed the information nicely. So David was asking, does it require Apple AI? No, this is using ChatGPT. And now here we go. Now it parsed the information, titled the event, actually pulled the address from what was on screen. I have the date and time, and you see it also added the URL that it saw in the screenshot. So I'll put a link to this in the chat, to this shortcut. Again, it might not work perfectly for every event you might see on screen, but I've used it on a couple different things just today, and it was working pretty well. So let me copy that link, and let's see how well Universal Clipboard works in YouTube. I'm going to paste the link over here. And there you go. There's a shortcut link there in the live chat, and I'll also put it in the the chat that is going to LinkedIn and Twitch, because yes, I am streaming to LinkedIn and Twitch as well. So there's that shortcut. And if you wanted to, you could also kind of have a visual intelligence style shortcut where you take a photo of something. So instead of take screenshot, I could do something like take photo, and now you can just take a photo of like a concert poster, like Apple showed off at WWDC. You could say, take one photo with the back camera. You'll want the preview on so you can see what you're taking a picture of. And then that picture could be sent to ChatGPT. Now, the shortcut I put in the chat is going to have just that one screenshot action. But if you wanted to, you could say choose from menu. And let's say maybe you want to take a screenshot. Maybe you want it to be a photo. So let's say screenshot is one option. And then, see, my autocorrect has not been working. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what's going on. Screenshot for the first option, and then photo for the second. And then we can have this be the beginning of the shortcut. Let me put the photo under the photo, screenshot under screenshot. And then what we can do is whatever the result is of this menu, it's going to get an image from it. And then for the AI action, rather than pulling from the screenshot, you see here it says the images field. Well, I can take that out, and now by default it kind of goes up to the files. You kind of have to do it a couple times. We'll do menu result. And now this version of the shortcut, when I run it, it's going to ask me whether I want to take a screenshot or take a photo, and then whichever one I choose, it will use that image for the AI action and the prompt to ChatGPT. And I'll tell you what, I'll put this version in the YouTube chat as well if you prefer to have it as that menu to be able to do a photo or a screenshot. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, let me look here. All right, Jay is saying, would love to see a shortcut for Apple Music that plays an already playing artist top 10 songs next. The Apple Music actions are a little challenging. I might have to come back to that. We'll see. Julio is saying, oh yeah, the brightness by time of day. Can I add some stuff? Recall the level of brightness before ending the automation. So when exiting that, making use of the shortcut automation, return to level. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, we're going to do that brightness shortcut in a second, Julio. That's really good. We are going to use data jar for that. And then how do we request certain apps to be built by you on this live? Simplistically digital, well, you can just leave a comment in this chat and I'll try to build it. What would you say is the most underrated feature available on shortcuts nowadays? Greeting from Mexico. Hey, Eduardo. The most underrated feature of shortcuts. I'll have to get back to you on that. There are a lot of, honestly, the third-party apps like Toolbox Pro and Actions, different than this AI Actions app that I'm talking about, those actually really expand the power of shortcuts. But one other shortcut I want to show you, this was actually requested in the Circle community where you can actually support the channel there, create.beard.fm. You could do that there. Let me actually be fancy and I can actually show that URL on screen. Let me try that. Create.beard.fm. That is a website, and let's save and show it. That should show on screen, I think. Let's see if that. Let's see if you can see that. But create.beard.fm. That's where you can go and support the channel. But also, you can get priority shortcuts if you do that. So, let me show you this other shortcut. This was requested, where someone wanted to be able to quickly search Amazon without having to jump into the app, tap the search box, and then tap their search term. So this took a second to figure out, but this shortcut, it asks for text right away when you run the shortcut, and then it changes it to lowercase just to make it easier to search, replaces any spaces with a plus because URLs, you can't have spaces. And then this URL right here, this is what actually took a second to find. If you want to open a search query in the Amazon app directly, you have to use this URL, com.amazon.mobile.shopping, // then that URL, and then I'm putting the search term at the end. And then when you open that URL as the final action, then it will actually open the search term directly in Amazon. So for instance, I can run this shortcut. Maybe I want to search for MagSafe charger. Let me try to spell it right here. And now when I hit done, it should automatically open the Amazon app with the search already going. I think this is going to be way faster than opening the Amazon app, tapping search. Then you can also have this widget on your home screen. You can have it in your Today view, and it's going to be much easier to search Amazon with something like this. So I will share this. Now, if you're in a international, I know it's people watching from Mexico and other locations, you might not have Amazon.com. It might be Amazon.co.uk. Whatever your Amazon URL is here, you might need to change that. The app part, com.amazon.mobile.shopping, should be the same, but you might need to change that .com so it applies to your region. But I thought this was a real convenient shortcut. Makes it easy to search for Amazon. I've been using it rather than opening the app as well. So there's a link to that shortcut for the Amazon search. So Simplistically Digital is asking for, let's see, a shortcut that works with the voice assistant when given a command can open a YouTube playlist that autoplays. Most of my request involves accessibility. Well, you can open a YouTube playlist with a shortcut, and let's do that real quick. I can actually set that up for you. If it's all right, I'm going to use one of my own playlists because, we're here on the channel. Also, Lexi Zavidza, she's now become a solo creator. If you're not familiar, she was with CNET. I was just watching her review of the Galaxy S25 Ultra. Highly recommend. I should go subscribe. But here's the shortcuts playlist. I'm going to tap share so I get that shortcuts playlist. We'll copy the link. And this is one of the things where, again, open URL is really going to be your key here. So I'm going to search for the open URL action. We'll do open URLs, and I'm just going to paste the playlist URL. And let's see just what this one action shortcut does. I'll hit play, and it opens the playlist right here in the YouTube app, just that simply. Now, it doesn't autoplay, and I don't think you can actually do the autoplay just yet. I don't think there's a command you can do for that, but it can at least get you directly to the playlist, and then you can add this shortcut to like your Today view or somewhere else, or even have a menu option where you can choose from multiple playlists. So that's just using the open URL command and using the playlist URL. I will say I had a bunch of YouTube shortcuts. I'm not sure if I have them anymore, but there's a bunch of shortcuts that you can use to access specific YouTube views. So for instance, if you wanted to go to, let's see, I have a YouTube menu here. Maybe that's it. Yeah, this is good. I'm going to share this shortcut in the chat in a second. But what this shortcut is basically has a bunch of URLs or shortcut. Well, I'm gonna have to share all these shortcuts, but there's like URL schemes to open certain portions of YouTube, like the subscriptions or the history, things like that. And so, like search YouTube right here. If I tap that, I should be able to search YouTube. I'm gonna search for Beard FM because that's my channel handle. And if I do done, that's actually gonna open the search directly in YouTube automatically without having to go to YouTube and type it. So those are the kind of URL schemes that you can use to access specific things in YouTube. So I'll share this shortcut if you want to do a quick search, kind of like the Amazon one we just did. Very similar, uses URL shortcuts, but YouTube search, and I will paste that. That's in the YouTube chat right now. Let's see, who else do we have? Mark, that Amazon search. Thank you, appreciate it. What other shortcuts do we have here? Oh, brightness level. All right, so simplistic, was it Julio is asking, recalling the brightness level, and he wants brightness by time of day. So I built a shortcut for him recently. I think that was in the request 18. Simplistically, thank you for that. A shortcut solution for using Siri to take a pic. Text a person hands-free. Have a hard time with the always ask for voice. Okay, I'll get to that in a second simplistically. I was doing the shortcut for brightness by time of day. Let me find that real quick. I think, here we go. The brightness by time of day. So what this does, this shortcut, I shared it in my last video. It gets the current location because it gets current weather at current location. And the reason I did that is because current weather is actually can get sunrise and sunset time. And so I get the sunset time format. So when I run this, whether it's before sunset or after sunset, it will change the brightness. So if it's before sunset, brightness is going to go to 100%. If it's after sunset, brightness is going to go to 30%. Now, I think what Julio was asking was he wants to recall the level of brightness before running the automation. So when you exit the app, it can recall that. So here's what we're going to do. Data Jar is a great app, and I highly recommend. I talk about it a lot in my videos. recommend trying it. So this, we're gonna have to use a data jar for this, but this is good because I get to set it up live and you guys get to see what it's like. So with data jar, you can have lots of different kinds of data. You're basically just storing it somewhere because you can't really store data in the Shortcuts app itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new list. And so if I go over to list and the key, this can be whatever. We just need to know what the name is to use in the shortcut. So we're going to call this brightness and hit save. Oh, this key already exists, of course. So let's call this um, bright. We'll call it display brightness just for argument's sake. So display brightness. So now that we have a data jar list, I can go down. Here's the display brightness list. And what this is going to do is keep track of our previous brightness. So now at the beginning of this shortcut, I'm going to search for data jar as an action. And now I can set value. I want to get this action, put it at the very top, and we're going to set, and then we choose the value. The key path is what we just did. So we're going to do display brightness, has to match exactly the term that we used in data jar. So display brightness, and we're going to set that to, and let's see if I can do this without any other actions. If I tap and hold, no. Okay, I have to get the brightness from another action. So I think what we can do is get device details. This is an action that's built into shortcuts. Everybody has it. I'm going to get device details. And when you tap where it says device name, I can say current brightness. And now you'll see the data jar action already updated. This is now going to get the current brightness when I run this shortcut, and it's going to set the display brightness value in data jar to the current brightness. This way it locks down what that is. So let's save that. That's going to be this shortcut. And I'm going to send this shortcut into the chat just because if somebody wants it, you can do that. So set brightness by sunset time. And again, it's going to go to 100% if it's before sunset, or it's going to be dim afterwards. So then the next thing we're going to do is I'm actually going to create another one. I'm actually going to move this to my, see I have these folders for shortcuts here. And so we're on shortcuts request 18. That's how many videos I've done doing the shortcuts requests. Now I'm going to create another shortcut, and let's call this resume brightness, or what's another word? I'm not looking for it. There's another word for it. But anyway, resume brightness. And I think that'll be a unique name here. So resume brightness. And what we're going to do here is it's going to be simple two actions. We're going to get data jar, and we're going to get value, and we're going to get value for, you guessed it, the display brightness that we had set earlier. So display brightness. And that's going to, remember, we logged it when we ran the last shortcut. So now we can resume. So we're going to get the value, and then we're going to search for the brightness, set brightness action. And instead of 50%, we can actually tap and hold and choose the data value from a data jar. So this is going to get whatever the last value was in that list and then set my iPhone brightness to that. So what should happen? When I run brightness by time of day, because it's before sunset right now, my brightness should go to 100%. But it should log my current brightness to data jar. And then I'm going to run my resume brightness, and it should bring me back to the current brightness we have now. This is the moment of truth. Let's see if it works. I'm going to tap brightness by time of day. Oh no, couldn't do the set value. It doesn't allow overriding. If you want to override, you must configure the, oh, I forgot one thing in the data jar action. My bad. Here we go. Where it has data jar, what we're going to do is we want to store the value as automatic, and where it says overwrite, we want to say yes. We want it to overwrite whatever data is in that data jar list because we want it to have whatever the current brightness is. So now let's run it. It's going to write that. And now look, we're at 100% brightness. The shortcut worked because it's before sunset. But now if I tap the resume brightness, it should go back to what it was before, pulling from data jar. Let's see if that works. Boom. We did it. We did it. All right. So now let me share these two one more time because now we have them right. I'm going to copy this link. So for that time of day by sunset, that's the first one. And then if you want the resume brightness shortcut, remember you do have to have data jar installed and you have to create that list in data jar that we call display brightness. And then what you can do is if you wanted to automate this, let's say there's an app where you want it to go to 100% brightness when you open it and then go back to the brightness that you set previously. Well, I'm going to go to the automations tab. Let's choose a random app. Let's just choose the podcast app because Primary Technology, my tech podcast, was a new episode today, so I was previewing that. So when podcast is opened, we want this automation to run immediately. We're going to do new blank automation. We're going to do run shortcut. And then we need to find our brightness by time of day. So I'm just going to search for that. Brightness by time of day. So now when we open podcasts, it's going to run that shortcut, which should set the brightness to 100%, but also log the brightness that I currently have. And now we're going to do a second automation for when an app is closed. We're going to search for podcasts again. So when I exit the podcast app, we're going to run whatever shortcut immediately, new blank automation, run shortcut, and then we're going to do our resume brightness shortcut. And there's our resume brightness, hit done. All right, let's see if this automation works. So if I open the podcast app, the brightness should go to 100%. Let's open it. That automation should be running in the background. Boom, brightness is at 100%. Shortcut worked. Now when I swipe to go home, that other shortcut, resume brightness, should run and it should return back to the brightness I had set previously. I'll swipe to go home. Shortcut should run in the background. Boom. Look at that. It works. We did it. All right. We did it, Julio. So you can download those two shortcuts. Remember, you need data jar for that, and that will be in the chat. All right, let me go back to the chat here. What HomeKit cameras do you recommend that can be used with shortcuts? Witty, that's a tough one because there's a lot of HomeKit cameras that work with HomeKit Secure Video, and you can automate certain things, but not a lot, honestly. I use the Aqara cameras a lot, the Aqara E1 and the Topo 2K cameras. Just in general, working with HomeKit Secure Video, would recommend those. All right, we'd love to see, this is from Lance, we'd love to see a shortcut that will turn on an eSIM and make it the default data SIM when turned on, and be able to turn it off the same shortcut, maybe like a toggle. So Lance, this is a great one for something like eSIM, and I'm going to do simplistically digital next. If you wanted a shortcut, you can start with a menu, and back to that, what action is underrated? Menus and choose from lists. I think those two actions are underrated because you can start a lot of shortcuts with that and minimize the number of shortcuts you need in general. So maybe you want to eSIM on, can be the first menu option, and maybe you want eSIM off to be the next option. And then what you can do is there is a cellular action. So if you search for cellular, there's set cellular data or toggle cellular plan. And here you can turn on or off a plan. And when you tap that, you can choose your plan. I'm not going to tap it now because it would show my phone number, but you can tap that and then you can choose whether or not you want it to toggle it on or off. And we can do that. And then you can add a second action. So if you have two eSIMs attached, you could duplicate this action and toggle one on and one off. You can't, I don't know if you can set it as primary. It's really just toggle on or off. But if you can turn off the one you don't want and turn on your eSIM, then hopefully that should work for you. Let me copy this to the eSIM off one, and you can customize these actions, and we'll call this our eSIM toggle. And let me know if that works for you. There's the eSIM toggle, and we'll share that, and we'll put that in the show notes. Sorry, I'm not titling these links as I put them in there. I'm just trying to go quickly. So that was the eSIM toggle. All right, now Simplistically Digital, she's asking a shortcut solution for using the voice assistant to take a pic and text to a person hands-free. I have a hard time with the always ask or voice prompting for pulling up contacts. This is a tough one because searching for a contact in the shortcut, you can do it, but it is not super reliable. So let's do this. Let's try some things. The first thing will be dictate text. Well, how do we want to do this? Yeah, let's do dictate text, and we'll start by saying a name. So we're going to dictate text, and hopefully this, when you just run the shortcut, you can say something like send a text to so-and-so, or if we just say a name. Hopefully we just say a name. Let's just see if that works. So we're going to dictate the text, and then we're going to find contacts by that name. Let's see if that works. So we're going to find contacts, the contact, or we can go to last name. Let's see, first name, last name. That's tough. It might actually work better if you can nickname a person, um, but we'll try name. So if name is, and we'll try to see how it works with the dictate text. Let's see if that works. Now, a lot of times what I do is I will do a quick view to see what an action is going to output before I go on. So let's see if this works. I'm going to try and search for, let's see if it works. Samuel Robles. So it dictated the text. It's now searching my contacts, and hopefully it's going to show it in quick look. Now, I don't think there's multiple of those in my contacts. So actually it did show it. All right. So that actually worked. So if you dictate the text and you can say the name, then it's going to pull up the contact. Okay, cool. Now, you're saying you want to be able to send a picture and a text. Now, here's the challenging thing. The messages action only has the ability to send a text or an image at once. So you'd kind of have to do two. So what I would say is let's ask for input. So if you want to like text something like written out, let's do, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do a speak text action so it's clear what you're supposed to do next. So I'm going to clear this variable, speak, what would you like to say? Okay. And then hopefully it's going to, I'm going to add another dictate text action. And hopefully you can say what you want to say. Then let's do the send message. And we will send the dictated text to, and we're going to choose the contacts variable. It will send that dictated text to the contact that it found. Let's see what it does because there are multiple phone numbers attached to that contact card. We'll see what happens. So we're going to send the dictated text to the contact. Then if you also want to send a photo, I'll search. You can do the take photo action. We'll take one photo, let's say with the back camera. We'll show the preview because we want to see that. And then let's send one more message to the same person. We're going to send that photo to the contact as well. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it, okay? So let me turn my volume up so you can hear what it says. It's going to start, remember, we're saying the contact first. Samuel Robles. All right, now it's going to find that contact. Hopefully it then asks us with this action what to do next. I'm going to give it a second.
What would you like to say?
Check out this photo. All right, it's going to send that message. That worked, and it is messaging that contact. And then it should prompt me to take a photo. I can take the photo, and now it's going to send that photo. I can tap use photo, and it's going to send that to the person as well. Now, that actually seemed to work. If that's kind of what you were going for, the one thing you would do, you can turn off the show and run for the message commands. Now, the one thing you'll have to be mindful of, it might pull multiple contacts. You know, if you have multiple John Smiths in your contacts, then you might need to do a choose from list and actually specify exactly the contact. But it seems like you can do it. What are we going to call this? Send text and photo? Send text and photo verbally. Now, again, to activate this with the voice assistant, you would need to say that phrase exactly when you're holding the icon, or you could add this to the action button or your back tap, anything like that. And let's actually do a nice little icon here for you. And there we go. And that's going to make it into the next shortcuts request video that I'm going to make tomorrow. So there you go. But here you go. This next link I'm putting in the chat is going to be that shortcut. Pretty cool. Hope that at least gets you closer to it. All right, let me go back to the chat here. Develop a shortcut for a Samsung-like circle to search function. If that's not possible, build a healthcare GPT that lets users describe a painful body part and search for medications. That sounds like you could do data jar. Oh, Mohammed, you could do text file. Yeah, sorry, I was distracted. All right. Develop a shortcut for Samsung like circle to search feature. That's an interesting one, David. All right, let's do something like that. Let's try to do it. Samsung circle to search, but here in shortcuts. I'll tell you what, here's what we're going to do. We can do a photo or a screenshot. I want to do a screenshot just because it's a little easier. So let's do take screenshot. And now while we can't do circle to search per se, well, I say that, but let's try to edit. Let's go to edit image. Let's see what kind of image editing tools we can pull here. We can crop the image so that, cropping is one way you could do it. We could, I'm looking for markup. You can overlay image, which we could overlay like a circle. See, and there's a bunch of actions from like Toolbox Pro and the Actions app that you can use as well. But let me search for markup real quick because I think there's an action for that. There is. Okay, let's try it. So we're going to mark up the screenshot. And now let's write a prompt here. And we'll do something. I'm going to try and dictate this, see if it's faster. The following photo has a red circle around the object I would like to identify, period. It might be a landmark, comma, animal, comma, place, comma, anything, period. Describe that thing, and if it seems to be a location or landmark, describe that too. All right, that's going to be our prompt. Now for this one, I'll use the ChatGPT action. This way it's a little more universal. We'll do Ask ChatGPT, and we just use the text right there as the prompt. We're going to start a new chat. I turn off the show. We'll turn off the show and run. We can choose the model. I typically go for the 4.0. I do pay for a ChatGPT Plus. Sometimes the action can be a little funky sometimes. Like it's not letting me choose a model right now. But we'll do it. So we're going to ask ChatGPT that. And then I'm just going to add a quick view or a quick look so we can just see what ChatGPT says. So let's see if this works. This is going to be circle to search. And I'm going to try it on a landmark. So circle to search. Okay, and let me actually put this as my action button. This way it's a little easier to access. So there's an action button. Let's go circle to search. Now, let me search for a landmark here. Maybe something like Taj Mahal. And hopefully there should be pictures of it so we can try it. Okay, let's try it with this one. So I'm going to run this. It's going to take a screenshot, and then it should allow me to mark it up. You know what? I just realized that I don't know if I made the screenshot pass to the next action. Oh, and you know what? I actually can use the ChatGPT action again because it doesn't allow me to do the image. Okay, so we're going to do the AI actions again. I'm going to ask AI. I can't do the built-in ChatGPT action again, unfortunately. We're going to ask AI with the text prompt that we had before. And let me expand this. And for the image, I'm going to, it does that the first time. I'm going to tap and hold on it. Or maybe I just tap it. No. Don't know why this does it to me. Tap and hold. There we go. Markup result. I want the markup result to be the thing that gets sent to ChatGPT. And then we're going to show the Ask AI result in the quick look. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm going to run it. It's going to take a screenshot. We're automatically in the markup area. I'm going to make this a little thicker so it knows exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to circle this, hit done, and now it's going to send that image to ChatGPT using the AI actions, and let's see what it comes up with. Again, I could probably workshop that prompt a little more, but let's see what it did. Let me hold this. What does it say? Oh, yeah, it's saying it's the Taj Mahal. It's a famous mausoleum. Yeah, ChatGPT got it. It recognized it and the thing that was circled. Now, we would probably need to see if it can actually recognize smaller things. So let me see Manhattan skyline, and let's see if it can recognize an individual building. And let's see. So if we do something like this, okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now let's run this from the action button. Now, again, here's my markup. I'm going to circle the one building, hit done. Now it's sending that to ChatGPT using the AI Actions app. And let's see if it actually does it. Let's see if it actually picks out the Empire State Building from this picture. Awesome requests. This is a lot of fun. What does it say? The object in the red circle is the Empire State Building. Boom! We did it. Oh, man. All right, that's pretty cool. Well, there you go. You have circle to search. Now, again, that prompt could probably engineer that a little more so it provides, more accurate information, but you can do it. And then again, you can change that screenshot action to take a photo and then do the same thing. Add that markup action after the take a photo, and you're good to go. I'm going to put this in the chat. The latest link is that circle to search action from there. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, what else do we got? Craig M. Is there a way to make a shortcut that would, if between 6 to 7 a.m. when I connect to CarPlay, play a podcast station? Trying to automate playing my morning news on my commute. Very not important. That is important, Craig. We can do that. All right, so here's what we can do if it's between 6 and 7 a.m. This is great because a lot of you ask for time-based like shortcuts and automations, and it can be difficult to figure this out, but I'm gonna show you how to do it right now. So let's create this as a shortcut. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start with an adjust date action. Nope, that's a lie. I'm not doing adjust date. Format date. I want to format date right here. And we're going to format the current date, but under the formatting for time, I'm actually going to do none. And this is going to be counterintuitive, but the reason why is date format, I can choose custom. And here I'm going to do 2 capital H's. Now, why did I do that? Because what this is going to do is format the current hour in a 0 or 1 to 23. So if I run this, you'll see we're at hour 15. So 3 p.m. This is actually really easy because if you just want it for 1 hour, this is a piece of cake. So the next one I'm going to do is if number, and I format this as a number because the if statement is just a little easier to work with when I do that. So if formatted date, so it's going to be if a number. Then I'm going to do the if statement. If number is, and you wanted 7, so let's do that. So you said 6. So if 6, if the hour is 6, then we're going to start a podcast. Guess what? We're going to play the latest episode of Primary Technology. How about that? So we're going to play podcast and Primary Technology. Look at that. It just selected it automatically. Playback order, most recent. You can do newest first. Now, if I run the shortcut right now, it shouldn't do anything because it's not the hour 7. So I'm going to play it. Nothing happens. But if I change 6 to 15, which is now the current hour, let's see what happens now.
Changing like one word in the code. I don't even know. It's probably
boom. That's it. All right, I'll change this back to your hour. So you wanted 6. So we'll do 6 o'clock right here. And let's rename this play podcast at 6 a.m. Boom. We could do that. Let's add a nice little icon here, do a little podcast icon. Boom. And I'm going to share it. Boom. So what you do is then you can automate this. And so I'll copy the iCloud link. This next link going in the chat is the play only at 6 a.m. right there. And then what you can do is you go to automation. I should probably delete those automations I did earlier because my brightness is going to go to 100%. I'm not going to know why. So let me delete those. But now what you can do is when CarPlay, so when CarPlay connects, we want this to run immediately. Don't notify when run. We're going to choose the run shortcut command as the only action. And then we're going to do podcast at 6 a.m. So podcast at 6 a.m. And that's it. Now when your phone connects to CarPlay, if the hour is 6, meaning 6 a.m., between 6 and 7, it'll automatically play that podcast. If not, then it won't do anything. Boom. Another one down. This is great because this is now going to be my weekend video, just showing off these shortcuts that you guys helped me build. All right. Wish I could have a shortcut to start my car with the Connect app. Yeah, unless, Tony, unless an app supports shortcuts actions, it's kind of a no-go there. All right, let's say links. Sup, Steven? Hey, how's it going? All right, can you send automated text? Here we go. Simplistically, or Pink City Princess asking, can you send an automated text to only a certain group of people that you have in a list in your contacts. You can not. I don't think you can. So what you can do is like you can do the find contacts action, and part of that can be a group. So I can do find contacts, and you could say group is, and you can choose a group that you might have. So let's say I have a contact list called weekend. The problem is when you send a message and you try to choose that action or that output as the recipient, it it's not going to work. So if I do a send message, see it's pulling the contact. So let's clear that. Let me send the word hey, and then if I try and choose the previous one, let's see if it does it. I'm going to do show and run so it doesn't do it automatically. If I hit play, will it actually send it to all those contacts at the same time? I really doubt it, but maybe it'll work. Oh my goodness. It works. I don't believe it. It works. All right. Well, Pink City Princess, you got your answer. Done. You just use the find contacts action, do group is, and you can choose whatever contacts group you have set up. This is actually a huge deal because I didn't realize that you can automatically do that. Because I thought when sending a group message, well, and here's the thing. Like if you wanted to send a group message to a group that you already have existing, like if you wanted to do send a message, a lot of times it'll like show some of your groups. So like, let's see, like I have individual people here, and sometimes if you've like recently opened a group, like so here's my group where we send Wordle and connections every day. Sometimes then when you go to the shortcuts app, it'll like suggest those as recipients. But no, it's not even doing it now. Like send message. Yeah, see, it's not even. I don't think it's gonna do it. Anyway, I'm now going to set up a bunch of shortcuts because I did not realize this worked. So yeah, you can do it. Find contacts, group is, add whatever contacts you want in the group. I don't know if it's going to start a new conversation if you're sending multiple messages. That's the only thing that I'm not sure about, but I'll test it, and that's going to be part of the videos, the video this weekend. That was a great question, Pink City Princess. Thank you for that. Uh, Yashashwi saying, "Is it your first time doing a live stream?" Usually I do live streams for like product unboxings, but this is super fun. I think I'm going to do more shortcuts live streams if you guys are up for it. Let me know if you guys if you want more of these. Watching your process makes me feel like I'm definitely not using my phone to its potential. Celine is okay. I'm figuring it out as I go a lot of times, and so start small. You know, there's the shortcuts playlist on my channel where I really walk you through kind of those early steps. So yeah, go for it. I want a shortcut that turns on off haptic vibrate in silent mode. Unfortunately, you can't toggle vibrations with the shortcuts action. You can vibrate your device, but you can't actually toggle it. You can toggle silent mode, which is only available with iPhones with an action button. You see set silent mode, but you'll only see that if you have an iPhone 15 Pro or one of the iPhone 16s. No toggles for like haptic feedback. There's like the Toolbox Pro where you can play feedback or have haptic vibrate your device, but you can't toggle feedback on or off, unfortunately. All right, going down. I want to shortcut. Let's see. Curvin A. Open last closed app. List of apps recently opened shortcut. That's an interesting request, Curvin. Open last closed app. The only way that you could log that is if you had an automation run every time an app is closed. So, for instance, well, let me do this. Let's create a shortcut. We're going to do a data jar action. So I should probably do the data jar list first. Let's do a new list. And we're going to call this last app. Last app. Is it spelled right? Yeah. All right. This list is called last app. And the simple shortcut we're going to set up is data jar. And we're going to set value, set, and we're going to type last app because that's the list that we just created. Last app 2, and then we're going to. Oh no, this is a tough one. Let's see. Let's try this. I might need to start with a get current app action. Get current app. Okay, so let's do that. So we're going to get current app. And we're going to set last app to the current app name. Let's try that. So we're going to log the current app to data jar when we open an app. Log last app. Then we'll need a second shortcut. We'll start with data jar again. Let's get value, and we're going to use the same list number, last app. And let's see, open app. We're going to open, and we're going to choose the value right there. And we'll say open last app. This is going to be a challenge. Let's see. Open last app. So let's have this automation run whenever we open the podcast app, and let's see what it does. So app, when app opens, now you can actually choose multiple apps for an automation like this. So if you wanted to, you could literally, do this for every app, select every app in this list. I'll keep those selected, and let's go down to podcasts, and let's do that. So podcast, when podcast is open, we want this to run immediately. New blank automation, run shortcut, and let's search for last app, what we just made. Log last app. Okay, let's see what happens. So, I went out of filming focus mode because we've been streaming for a minute. All right, so I'm going to open the podcast app, and I'm going to see what data jar logged first because I'm unsure. See, it didn't log anything. That's the concerning part. So let me go back. Log last app. I'm going to add a wait command because I'm afraid it doesn't have enough time. So I'm going to wait 2 seconds, get current app, and then set it to the app name. Let's try that again. I want to open podcasts. That shortcut should have ran in the background. And now let's see if data jar got anything. That is not working. Oh, I didn't do the overwrite. I did it again. You have to expand the data jar action, and then for overwrite, you have to tap yes. I'll get that eventually. It probably would have worked without the wait command. So now I'm going to open podcasts. It waits 2 seconds, but maybe you don't need that wait command. Now let's go to data jar. Oh, look at that. Podcasts. Okay. So it logged my last open app. Now let's see if this one works. If I open this, it opens podcast. Boom. It works. That's how you do it. Let's see if it will do it without the wait command. So let me go back to the automation. Let's see, where are all those apps that I just had? When 10 apps are opened, let me choose a couple different apps to see if it actually works. We'll do Amazon. This way we can do that. All right, done. So we took away that wait command. This should work. Let me open Amazon. So Amazon is now open. It should have logged it. Let's see if it logged it that quickly. I'm going to go to data jar. Yep, Amazon there. And if we go back to shortcuts, open last app, boom, it opened Amazon. And then if we open podcast again, there was no wait command, so I think we're good. Let me check data jar. Yep, podcasts, and open last app. Boom. It works. We did it. All right, I'm going to send this log last app. I know it's only a 2-step shortcut, but it's nice just to have it. Log last app, and then you would have that run as an automation every time any app is opened. And then you can do the open last app, and that will resume whatever app was opened last. So there you go. Those are 2 shortcuts. I think that's what you're looking for. Now you could also, instead of overwrite, you could add multiple results to a list and then choose from list next time. But yeah, so Kervin, hopefully that helps you. All right, let's keep going. There's a bunch of requests here. I want to get to as many as I can. Let's see, who's next? Who's next? Links. It's also sending the text from the screenshot. Try saving to photos before using it. Link said it's sending the text from the screenshot. You could change it to photos if that would help. I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, grabbing that one as well. Cool. Clayton, what's up? Waving. Julio, you're welcome. Glad I could do that. Have a specific calendar on which the events will toggle alarms off during those days. Blue Streaks, asking for toggling alarms based on calendar events. I've done this multiple times from, let's see, you want alarms or calendars? So I have this shortcut, which gets finds alarms and toggles them based on calendar events. And so I'll just share this and you can take a look. You'll have to adjust it for your calendar events and maybe alarm times, but that might work for you. That's Blue Streaks Media. All right, there's that shortcut. That's the latest one in the stream. All right, Robin, is there a way to create a shortcut where when my phone is connected to my car's CarPlay will close the garage door? You can. I think you can do that. You can actually, depends if you want it to run immediately or wait. But let's go to automation. Let me also delete this automation because I'm going to wonder why all my apps are being funny. All right, let's create an automation. We could do when connected to CarPlay, when it connects, run immediately. And this could just be a new blank automation and you just control your home. The control home action, let me just search for home so I don't misspell it. Home, control home, and then you can set your garage. I have my garage door, where is it at? Down here. I have a lot of smart home devices, if you didn't know. I have some videos on the channel about my smart home tour. And you could do closed or open. But if you need a little time, like to actually pull out of the driveway, you could add a wait command and do that first. Maybe you want waiting, I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute. You can go, I've used wait commands all the way up to like 5 to 10 minutes. So you could do a wait command and then it'll close your door. And you can have that run every time you connect to CarPlay. And there you go. All right. That was Robin. Brian Anderson, is there an automation so that when I open the app Waze and keep it open and I have my AirPods in, can I have all notifications red? Well, okay. So this is not possible, Brian, mostly because there's no trigger for an automation that lets you trigger on notifications. Like there's no way to trigger when a notification comes in, unfortunately. And there's no like shortcuts actions to change your notification settings, unfortunately, too. So I don't think that's possible, Brian. Sorry about that. Maybe this is from Marius B. Maybe an automation which scans a PDF and creates some contacts out of the document. Is this possible? Marius, that's a great question because I actually have a shortcut that I did in the last video talking about getting contact info from a screenshot or image. So I have a new contact from, I called it my new contact from business card. And what this does, it takes a photo, extracts the text, and then actually parses out all the information. So you can basically do this and you're asking scan a PDF. So instead of this first action, just say choose file or choose PDF, and you can do that by searching for files, and you could say choose, you could have a file here, or select file is probably what you would want. Select a PDF, and then all the actions stay the same. Extract text from PDF, and it'll do all the same actions. So the name is Get Contact from Business Card, but it should work for a PDF as well. And I will put that in the chat right here. That's the latest shortcut there. Let's see. Craig M, thanks so much. I was confused on how to get the time part of this. I know the time formatting is tough. I've only learned it after building many shortcuts for that. All right, let's see. Kim Kia Hunter, is there an automation that can send me a notification at 8 a.m. listing everything on my calendar for that day? Absolutely. You can totally do that. I have several shortcuts like this called like morning report, which includes things like weather and commute. Let me try and find one called morning. I call it the morning routine. So what this does is it gets 30 events from all calendars. Now you can select which calendars you want to get events from, and you can also start with, well, I'll tell you what, let's just, let me build it from scratch. This way it actually applies to you. So it was send me a notification at 8 a.m. listing everything on my calendar for that day. So what I would do is, let's create this shortcut. And you'll be able to download this in a second. Let's find events. And this is a find calendar events action. You can choose find all calendar events is today. So we only want events that are today. And if you want to filter by calendar, you can choose your calendars as well. But let's just say if it's today, we want to see those events. Then, if you just play this and it just finds the events, it's going to list like all these random events, like these are like birthdays and stuff. So the next thing you'll want to do is probably, let's see what happens when I do it in a text format. So let me do a text block, calendar events, and you might need to parse, you'll have to probably parse this information. Let's see what happens. So those are all the different events that I have for today, but that's just the title. See, and so maybe you want the title, and what we can actually do is I can tap the calendar event again, and we can do start date, and let's do that. I'm actually going to add that calendar filter because it's showing too many events. So calendar is, let's do, I know my wife's concert schedule, so now we're just going to get one event. So event is today, calendar is ISO schedule, and I added that second action. So now it's going to give me the start time and the event title. So it says the title and the full date and time. Now we can probably choose, let's see, start date. If we really wanted to, we could like format it. So I'll tell you what, date format, I'm going to do none, short time format. So now it won't have to tell us the date because we already know it's today. Oh, but it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Okay, well, I would probably want to format these a little nicer. Oh, I did note. That's probably why. Okay, so let me try start date. Let me go down. Date format is none. Time format is short. Let me try this one more time. This is what I do on the weekends, and then I build the videos and then I publish. So there we go. We have the event. We have the time. And then if we wanted to, we could have like a speak text, or I'll tell you what, you want a notification, so let's do that. Let's show a notification with all of our events. Hard to see from over here, our notification. And we can do play sound. No. Show notification. And the notification information, we want it to be the text that we formatted above. So when I play this, it'll get all the events and you'll see it in that notification. Now I don't know what'll happen if it's going to have multiple. Let me actually pull one more calendar event. Let's do the kids events because I know there's events on there. And let's see if it shows it in the notification. See, now it's not going to show it because if you have too much text in there, I don't think it's going to do it. So we might need to do like a quick view or something like that. And we also might need to repeat with each. So I'll tell you what, let's do this so it actually works for you. Let me do a repeat with each, with every event. And we're going to have that text block in the repeat because we want every event to be formatted like this. And then we want it to combine the results. So we're going to combine the text after the repeat. And let's see what that looks like. I don't see it. Calendar today. Calendar is that. That should have worked. I'm not sure why it's not. So I'll have to play around with that. That's working. All right. So basically, this is the idea. I'm not sure what this is. I'll tell you what, I'll keep building this out for the next video, but I'll do morning event. Can't spell from up here. Notification. I will fix this and build it out for the next request video, but if you want to play with it for now, I will put it in the chat. That was for Kim Kia. So here it is. That's the last shortcut in the chat, but I'm going to work on that for the next video. Wish shortcuts to rename batch files in the Files app. Renaming is something that you can do in shortcuts. If I go to Files, and if we go to, you can rename file. Now, it depends how you want to rename it. If you're just kind of doing an index or something like that, it could be different. So you can rename files. It depends if you want to like choose files, if you want to, I'm not sure. I would need more details on that. So, Luciano, for the renaming, let me know a great way to do it. I'm going to put this, my community, if you didn't know, create.beard.fm. If you go to create.beer.fm, I'm going to put the link in the chat. You can join the community for free and request there. You can support the channel with $5 a month, and I prioritize those shortcuts. Can't guarantee I can do them all because sometimes they're really complicated. But give me more details about what you're wanting, and we can do that. Mark Horton, we need more of these. All right. Sherry saying yes, please. All right, we'll do more shortcuts live streams. This is fun. How do I get an API key for the circle to search shortcut? To get an API key for ChatGPT, you need to be paying for ChatGPT Plus at least, and then you would go to the OpenAI website and you can request your API key there. Simplistically Digital saying my live stream shortcuts wish list. Okay, accessibility apps for the blind, any shortcuts that help with logging information into invoices using Google Sheets. So many of you ask for budgeting and adding things to a spreadsheet. And so in my next video, I'm really going to try and do the spreadsheet thing. It's going to be easier with numbers because those actions are built in. Google Sheets doesn't have built-in actions, so I will try to do that. Would love a tutorial on variables. Oh, that's a good one, Adriana. Variables, okay, we'll work on that. Gray Sign 3, an automation that connects my Bluetooth to a speaker in my home and then starts playing a specific playlist in YouTube Music. All right, well, that last caveat, just I can't do it that way. YouTube Music does not have any actions, unfortunately. So I cannot do YouTube Music specifically. You can do it with Apple Music. You can basically, when you connect to a Bluetooth device, it'll start playing a playlist, but it doesn't work with YouTube Music, unfortunately. All right, let's see. I'm going to keep going down here. How do I get an API key? For the AI Actions app, it's the same thing, Donald. When you get that API key from OpenAI for your ChatGPT Plus account, that is your API key for the Actions app. And then when you go to the Actions app, like on your phone, it also has a Mac app, you would just be putting your API key in the settings. And that's literally all the app does. There's not even like a UI to the app, really. It is just for inputting your API key. All right, this is from Christoph. Can I just connect with my CarPlay via USB-C? Is it possible to, if phone is connected with CarPlay, then check the current battery status, and if battery status is less than 40%, then don't charge. The don't charge thing there's no action to prevent charging, unfortunately. You can get battery percentage and automate, like if battery is less than 40%, but you cannot say don't charge. There's no don't charge action, unfortunately. Saad J, is there a way to develop a shortcut that deletes one or multiple alarms without a confirmation prompt? Yeah, absolutely. You can just go to the alarms. Like if you search for alarms action, there is the delete alarms, and you can choose one of the alarms that you have there. Or if you name an alarm, like let's say you name it wake up, you can use the find alarms action first. So let's do find alarms, and you can do find all alarms where the label contains or is. And this is helpful because then you can create and then delete the same alarm by keeping it the same name. So if the label is work, then you can do the delete alarm. I misspelled it again. Work. Delete that second conditional. And now if we do the delete alarms, then you can choose, it'll just delete the alarm that it finds. So let me go to my alarms real quick and let's see if it works. If I go to the clock, do I have any labeled as work? I have leave for work, alarm, 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 alarm. Okay, let me get rid of some of these so we can actually try it. So let's label one of these, this one. Let's label it work. And it should just delete this alarm when I run the shortcut, no confirmation required. So there's the work alarm. It's going to delete. I'll actually exit it, so it's just right here. I'm going to run the shortcut. Oh, I see what you're saying right there. Huh. I think it's going to ask for confirmation every time because I don't see a way to disable that. So I think you might. I think it's going to do it every time. Yeah, I'll do more research on that, but I don't think so. All right, let's say Sigmund. Hey, Sigmund Judge. Are you able to create a shortcut based on a car's FPE1 zone so that an Apple TV could automatically switch profiles if someone sat in their usual seat? Maybe not something for now. Of course, Sigmund be up in here with the most complicated request. I don't think I do have a car presence sensor. I do not think that you can do that. Let me see. There is an Akara action here. See, but I don't even know what that is. You might, maybe, I'll have to set my, I don't have my presence center sensor set up right now, so I couldn't even try to build this. You might be able to, no, you might be able to create an automation in the Akara app. And then, sometimes it will sync to the home app as a scene. And then you can run that scene with an if statement in shortcuts. But I'll have to set up my presence sensor for that. If I can get it working, that would be a great YouTube video. So I will I will try to do that segment. I'm gonna take a screenshot of your question and I will try to work on that. Thanks for the challenge. I will no promises, but I'll see what I can do. Let's see. Run a URL to the playlist. You still have to push play through. Are apps like Actions or Toolbox Pro, do they also work on the Mac and iPad? Do you have experience there? Christoph, you can use Actions and Toolbox Pro on iPad. On the Mac, I know AI Actions works, and I know, let's see, I don't think Toolbox Pro does, and nor does the Actions. But if the AI Actions app does work, so if you wanted to use that in any shortcuts on the Mac, that one does. Toolbox Pro and Actions, the third-party apps, works on iPhone and iPad, not on the Mac. CFC, auto turn on and off of focus mode based on a calendar event. Let's say I go to work calendar if there runs. Is there a way to make my work focus mode turn on at 9 and end at 5? Yes, you can do this. If the time is okay, so if you want to do it by calendar event, I have a shortcut for that, and I'll just put it in the chat. So focus, I have my focus by class. This is actually the one you're probably looking for. Focus during class. And so what this does is it actually gets, your calendars. So you get, events from your calendar. It gets the start time, sets the focus mode, and then automatically puts your device on silent. And it'll turn it off when the event ends. So it'll get the end time for your calendar event and automatically schedule the focus mode to be disabled then. This is called Focus During Class, and I will put this link in the chat for you. And this is what you're looking for, CFC. I've done videos on it in the past, so if you look on the channel, I know I've talked about them more in depth. This is Bones. He said, I've made an automation which triggers the log battery shortcut. It'll log whether or not the phone is charging, stop charging, current battery percentage, date, and time. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you can totally log that and keep a note. I already have an auto maroon that deletes alarms without prompts. GT, how'd you do it? How'd you delete the alarms without any confirmation? Blue Streaks, do you know of any app that will have a control center widget that will show the current temp like a lock screen widget? Unfortunately, I don't think any control center widgets or shortcuts are going to be live updating. I don't think the control center has that option. So I don't think just yet. That would be cool though. Yanko saying an example for using get physical activity in shortcut. It seems to do nothing when I use it. So this is that's a good action. I actually did an entire video on it. I'll get the link in a second. But he's talking about the physical activity, and you can choose. It doesn't do anything, but if you add a quick look after it, it'll tell you what the activity is. So like stationary right now, if the phone was moving, I'll tell you what, let me try and like move it around and run the shortcut while I'm moving it. And now, let's see what it's trying to get physical activity. Well, now I think I confused it. No, it still said stationary. Well, if you were in motion, it should say things like in motion. And you could basically say, like, you can use if actions depending on what you want to show there. I'll find the video where I talk about that specific action, and I built some action button shortcuts based on it. And I think it was an iOS 18 update. Let me see if I can search for it real quick. Oh, no, it's 17.4. I got the video right here. So the video I'm going to share in the chat right now, that actually talks about the get physical activity. And you can see that there. All right. Can open YouTube on Apple TV via iPhone shortcut. Or you can totally do it. You can open an app on Apple TV with a shortcut. I've talked about this before. Let's see. Apple TV. Let's see if I have the shortcut saved here. For instance, wake, forward, watch. Let's see. Where is it? Send to Apple TV. I think. Oh, here it is. Boom. you can run this shortcut and it will wake a specific Apple TV. I have it wait 7 seconds to make sure the Apple TV is actually on. And then you can choose to open an app on that specific Apple TV. You can totally do it. I'm going to share this link in the chat as well. And this one is for you. And you can totally do that. What case are you rocking on? Darshan, this is the Ryan London case with camera control. It actually has the sapphire button for camera control rather than the cutout. And I really like it. It's been rocking it for the past couple weeks. I did a review on it and a video on some other accessories. Let me get that real quick. And yeah, you could check that out. Ryan London. That is the case. All right, we've been building shortcuts for like an hour, 15 minutes. This has been super fun. I now have a bunch of ideas that I can use in the weekend shortcuts video that's coming up. So again, if you want to submit more shortcuts or even support the channel, even get priority shortcuts requests, go to create.beard.fm. I'm going to put that in the chat one more time. And you can also just support the channel there with $5 a month for those priority requests. And love to have you in the community, or just keep leaving comments and I'll keep building the shortcuts. I'm going to do a shortcuts video this weekend and using many of the ideas that you guys gave me today. So this was pretty awesome. It's been a lot of fun building it. And yeah, sounds good. All right, I also had some viewers over on Twitch and LinkedIn, which I didn't even realize. All right, very cool. Did you ever get a hold of the Nomad traditional case? You know, I did not. I did not, Mark. I can't speak to how good that might be. All right. Thanks, everybody. This was super fun. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And I'll be off. Stay tuned for the full shortcuts video coming this weekend. All right. Catch you guys later.